So, the person that had my job before me just died. It's been about 3 years now since I purchased the business, and I didn't really know the guy too well. He was a good guy. He's a lot older than me. I'm not under any sort of delusion that, I'm gonna die in 3 years or anything like that. That's not really what this is. But it's more just kind of made me think. So, I guess to give a little background, he was running the day-to-day operations of the business. It wasn't actually under his ownership at this point, but he did previously own it. He was just running it for the person I purchased it from. And yeah, he was the one who trained me. He showed me the ropes. He taught me all the tips and tricks that I needed to kind of get started and figure it all out on my own. It's, I don't know, I guess kind of a morbid subject, but it's been something that I've been thinking about. And like I said, I didn't know him super well. I don't mean any disrespect to him or his family or his kids, anything like that. To say that I'm not sad about it is incorrect. I, how do I put this? It's less of a shocking, saddening event and more of a realization that, yeah, I'm young still. I know I have a lot of time left, hopefully, if everything goes okay for me. But even if I'm not running out of time, maybe I'm running out of options. He was, like I said, the owner of the business, going back probably about 10 or 15 years. Would have been whenever he sold it to the person I bought it from. And he had been in the industry in related things for pretty much all of his life. And he was still working the same thankless job for, up until 3 years ago when I took over and he was finally able to retire. And he didn't really get a whole lot of time after that. He got pretty sick almost right away, from what I know, and kind of struggled through the last few years. And I wasn't in touch with him or anything. I heard through, he was a friend of my dad's. That's how I found out. I don't even know when he passed, honestly. I just found out about it. It could have been recently, it could have been months ago. I truly don't know, but kind of fitting to the recent subject matter of, what I've been talking about in my last couple of videos, and the reason that I started this whole thing is just I've been reflecting a lot on what I've done in my life and what I want to accomplish, and it makes me wonder if I don't change something, if I don't find a way out, am I going to end up in that same situation, working a hard, physical kind of job where you're taken for granted and nobody really appreciates you but the people you get close to, just to get by for all my life until finally one day, I've saved up enough where I've gotten somebody to buy me out and I can get a few years of relaxation, I guess, to end it all up. And I don't mean to say that that's a terrible way to go. It's honorable. Absolutely, he stayed healthy, he stayed active up until the end. But life catches all of us, and I know he had things in his personal life that he liked to do, and your whole life isn't just your job. But it's kind of sad, man, to imagine that you work and work and work for decades at the same thing, and at the end, what do you really have to show for it all? I don't know. That's why I say not to be disrespectful, but I don't want to end up like that. That's not how I want to go. I'd hope that putting in that kind of effort and that kind of dedication would end up with a better payoff. Just seems kind of unfair. And when I say he worked hard and I say he busted his ass, I mean that. I mean, he was in his 60s when he was training me, and he was better at what I do now than I've ever been. And I guess he had a lot of experience, and I'm still kind of new to it all, but he was a good guy, and the universe didn't pay him back for it. And I know that's kind of cheesy, and I don't mean to sound pseudo intellectual, and everybody knows life's not fair. I just wonder what's the way out. Because when you have a career like that, you get kind of caught where you might hate the cycle of it all, but you end up being dependent on it, where as a small business owner, the hours compared to the pay, the ratio is pretty good, and the work's hard, but it's worth it to have that kind of independence in a way where I don't have a boss who's gonna yell at me or cut my pay or put me on probation if I oversleep or if I have to call in and take the day off because my kids are sick. But at the same time, if I did want to say move on, hopefully to bigger and better things, what would they be? Right now the job market is hard. No matter where I would go, the pay wouldn't be nearly as good. There'd be benefits, there'd be a lot less stress. I wouldn't have to worry so much about taxes. Wouldn't have so much riding on just me, but I don't know if I'm cut out for anything else. I don't have any marketable skills. I've run a business, and that's a very specific kind of thing. I don't know what kind of job would be looking for somebody like me. I never went to school. I mean, after high school, that is. Don't got a fancy piece of paper with my name on it that says I checked all the boxes. But I want out. I want something more. I don't want to work hard in the heat, in the snow, in the middle of the night for my whole life and have nothing to show for it. So I gotta find a way out. And I'm hoping maybe that's what this can be. I hope maybe that's what music can be. But now I'm at the point where it's hard to find the time to dedicate to learning and perfecting a craft. I've been musically inclined sort of my whole life, and I don't mean to say that in a way that I'm skilled. I just mean that I enjoy it and I find meaning and passion in it. And I started playing the guitar when I was, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. Played for about 5 years and then kind of gave up on it because I got stuck. I never had the motivation, and I never had a teacher that I really clicked with. And now after the birth of my son, most recently, I got back into it. I picked it back up, and I've been kind of teaching myself since then. And in the in-between years, I still found ways. If it's a little embarrassing to admit, I've always liked hip hop and rap music, and I've made a few rap songs off of YouTube beats and writing lyrics in my truck and recording it on an Apple headphones mic and trying to mix it up in GarageBand. And that only gets you so far. It gets the feelings out. It gets the pent up creative energy out in a way, but I just wonder what it's for sometimes. If I never have the opportunity to get those things to the point where I'm happy with what I create, I wonder why I'm even doing it. It's hard. It's hard to stay motivated when you're scrambling for minutes or living on borrowed time. Maybe someday. I'm sure it'll take years to get to a point where I could create something that I'm happy with and that other people would want to hear. I just feel like I have all these things that I want, all these things that I would like to do, aspirations that I know I'll never reach, holes that I know I can never fill. I gotta find a way out.